I've been thinking of the idea of authors who write one book and they're done. Like a lot of them are really the famous ones anyway, the ones that I know of, like The Catcher in the Rye dude, J.D. Salinger, or even Hera Lindsay Bird, who wrote a self-titled book. She did write a couple of pamphlets as well, but technically it's really just one book and she was done. Maybe she'll write more. She's still pretty young. But I've been thinking, I've done these 3 books. Now I'm going, what's the point in writing more? Like, do I want to? Is there they're good enough? Do I have to prove myself again? There's this feeling that it's like, oh, I've done them, now I've got to prove myself again. And this endless feeling of needing to prove myself to myself. It's weird. It's a strange feeling. And now I have the weird luxury of going, I've got all this stuff out across 3 books. Do I need to pump out another one to keep myself? It's my main form of entertainment, writing. Like, I love it. I get to think, I get to obsess over a single idea and pull it in all sorts of directions until I tire of it. Like a stupid cat playing, torturing a mouse or something. Me with a single idea, just endlessly playing with it. It's kind of an insanity, but I love it so much. Like it's like I can't think like that unless I'm writing words down and then seeing where the words lead, and then rereading the little runway of words that I created to take off again into the air in a different direction. And I do, and I'm starting to think, like, do I need to write another book? And if I do, can I just chill out and not rush it? Maybe I can just take my time. Because I've always, since I've gone full-time writing, which was 2020, I started selling my self-published stuff back then. I've had to sort of pump out a book a year from 2020 to be able to pay the bills. Like, it was a dream. I fulfilled my dream by leaving my job in 2020, and I was able to pay the bills. That was amazing. And especially in 21 and then 22, then it was like, oh my God, I can actually pay the bills and not have to live on crap. I can actually almost survive a bit better. So yeah, I'm in this position now where I can go, just relax, just chill out. You don't have to keep pumping it out. When I was working full time, I felt like I was writing stuff to just chill me out. I was writing my own medicine. And when I left, instead of writing medicine, my books started to feel like products to me. Like, sometimes I'd go between, this is great, this makes me feel good by writing that. And then I'd be checking the sale. Is it selling? Can I pay my bills? And so I'd go between those 2 modes of product and art. And sometimes my poems started to borderline on product, and a lot of them are. Like, I'd count any kind of aphorism or short little thing I've written more a product than a piece of art. From 2020, when I left my job, I felt like the first book was sort of semi-art and product, and then it started to become product. 21, 22, 23, and then I got a book deal thing, and I felt like I'd honed a style. I'd found almost like my own Derby House style, and it started to feel like I wasn't challenging myself, but I'd learnt so much through my days of working full time to be able to still write in a way that was art with a capital A, as pretentious as that sounds. But I was still sticking to this extremely disciplined timeline, conveyor belt, like it was a product. So it was this funny balance between just thinking, have I made page count? Have I got enough good poems? I was testing them out on social media. And now I feel like I can just chill out and remember why I was doing it in the first place. I feel like between 2020 and 2026, I didn't lose the way. I feel like I honed my craft, my voice. I found out by writing You're Going to Be Okay what my voice was for the first time in my life. as I always struggled with the idea of finding my voice through my 20s, 30s, even early 40s. Now people will comment, I read this poem, and before even realizing it was you, I knew this was your poem. And that's amazing. But yeah, there was a kind of a desperation in writing the last few books. It was like, quick, I've got to get it out. This window will close. I've come second place a lot of times in my life, and it's excruciating knowing you've come so close and it didn't count for anything. And for the first time, the traditional publishing thing happened, and all of a sudden I was like, I know these don't last. There's a window. I've got to take it. I've got to really push myself. I've got to make this happen. And so there was quite a bit of putting pressure on myself, and it doesn't always work when you put pressure on yourself. The best stuff doesn't always happen, but I feel like because I was 50, I'd had the experience to be able to manage that while still creating good stuff. I don't think I would have been able to do that in my 30s. So I had to wait for that. And so, yeah, now I'm like, I've got 3 books out that I love. Gonna Be Okay, because is a kind of a best of my stuff from 2012 to 2025. Derby Love, my mum's stuff, that was fun. That was one of my favorites. And Day Job Night Magic, which was like squeezing the juice out of everything else left from You're Gonna Be Okay. And I was squeezing so hard to make that happen. That was the book where I thought I have to make something happen. One more book, and I did it. And I'm happy with it. It's probably my favorite thing, because I felt like I found my voice in You're Gonna Be Okay by writing that slowly over 12 years or whatever. And Day Job Night Magic, I felt like, okay, I'm ready. This is the voice fully formed. Let's go. and so it felt like I wasn't really challenging myself in that way, in an artistic way, because I'd already discovered the voice in You're Gonna Be Okay. And so it became kind of a process, but also still open to artistic kind of sideways break-ins to new ideas. But I was almost operating on my own kind of formula that I'd developed. And so it was a challenge, but it wasn't at all as well at the same time. It was like, I know how to do this. This can be done. And so now I'm going, okay, I can relax. And my body doesn't understand it. I'm trying to relax at the moment. I'm trying to post less. I wasn't even sure if I was going to post this today. I was thinking maybe I should just have a couple of weeks off posting anything, talking crap, doing these little therapy sessions in my car on YouTube and Spotify, and just relax for a bit. But yeah, but I keep going back to the thoughts of authors who put out just a couple of books, and that was it. That's all I did. And I feel like I'd found my voice. I feel like I put up enough of my stuff to feel like it's a world of my own across 3 books that I've worked for years to develop, for it to only see the light of day in the last 6 years or so. And yeah, I love the idea of these authors who just wrote a few books and then that's it. They went into hiding. They did nothing else ever again. But yeah, for the meanwhile, while my stuff kind of relies on social media to sell, to be able to pay the bills, because I got to keep remembering that my dream was to leave full-time work to write stuff and pay bills with that, which happened. It happened 6 years ago. Now it's like I've got to change the goalposts. I've got to work out a new way of doing things. And I don't know what that is yet. I don't need to do this anymore. In my 20s, writing comics and humour was sort of a way to understand the world, and writing poetry was to understand my heart in the world. And eventually it became medicine, and it made me feel sane in a world where I was feeling insane. But now I'm starting to feel like a little, I'm going quietly sane now. And I don't need to write the books to bring comfort or peace as much as I once did. And that can be terrible to write books with, when I'm not feeling when I don't feel the need to push back on anything, which is a lot of my stuff. A lot of my stuff is questioning, disagreeing, willfully walking through brick walls to find my own world. And I don't feel I need to do that now. And so when there's nothing to push back on, I don't feel the need to, I have something else to say, unless I'm starting to force it. And of course I'm going to keep writing because it's my main form of entertainment. But there's nothing that, it's not, as Helen Garner called it, when after she wrote Cast the First Stone, or The First Stone it was called, she said she struggled to write a follow-up to that. That was a bestseller in the mid-90s. She said she had to write from a personal emergency. And I love that, a personal emergency. And Bukowski said similar stuff. Basically, words die on the page when the writer isn't trying to save themselves from something. But then there's someone like Mary Oliver, who didn't feel like she had to save herself. I don't know her actual personal story, but from what I gather from knowing a lot of her stuff, she was just walking through nature and observing the world, and it felt beautiful. And so there's a place of beauty where it's not pushback, it's just noticing the small things. And I think she said something about the poet's job is just to notice, or something about noticing. But yeah, I'm always going to notice stuff, but I don't feel the need to push back as much as I once did, which is how a lot of my stuff was written, and how I write funny stuff, and how I write poetry, and how I write my little stupid essays, is pushing against stuff. And I don't feel the need to be a battering ram. I'm exhausted and I feel a bit tired from it. So, yeah, I have mentioned this before, how I'm writing a new thing called Beautiful Fool. I don't know if it's going to work. And it's going to be real slow. There's no desperate emergency to be writing it. It's just bits and pieces, and just see what happens. Thanks for being my personal therapist on the other side of this screen.